The New Kid by deMauro. The New Kid. This is a chapter book, and it has 4 chapters. Chapter 1. The New School. One Monday in November, Jay and his mother drove to a yellow brick building with a sign in front that said Rosewood Middle School. It was a big building, much taller than Jay's old school. Jay's mother filled out lots of forms. Before they left, the school principal, Miss Tucker, came out of her office and shook Jay's hand. "Welcome to Rosewood," she said. "We'll see you tomorrow." On Tuesday morning, Jay's older sister, Eva, gave him a ride to school. "Are you nervous?" she asked. Jay shrugged and then nodded. "I hate being the new kid," he admitted. Eva chuckled. "You'll feel better after you've gotten to know a few people. Trust me." Eva watched Jay join the crowd of students who were waiting to go into the building. Then she drove down the road toward the high school. "Jay!" someone yelled. Jay spun around so fast that he bumped into another, bigger student, knocking him to the ground. "Nice move," said the boy. He looked pretty annoyed as he got back up on his feet. "Sorry," said Jay, but the boy had already turned his back. Jay looked around. Whoever had called his name must have been talking to someone else. Chapter 2. More Trouble. In the hallway, Jay checked the paper he had gotten from the school office. It said room 314. He headed toward the stairwell and climbed 3 flights. But when he got upstairs, the first room he saw said 401. Jay would have to go back downstairs. As he turned around, he ran into a crowd of students heading up the stairway. One girl was right in his way, and he stepped aside, but she stepped in the same direction. They went back and forth like this until the girl finally stood still, and she pointed down the stairs, bowed, and said, "After you." Jay blushed and ran down the stairs. This is turning out to be a pretty bad day, he thought. Chapter 3. Meeting Mr. Marcus. Now Jay was really late. Room 314 was locked, so Jay knocked softly. A very tall man opened the door. He had a very serious expression on his face. He means business. "State your reason for interrupting my class," he said. Jay fumbled in his pocket for the paper. "I'm in this class," he said in a quiet voice. Mr. Marcus pulled the paper from between Jay's fingers and studied it. Then he smiled. "Why didn't you say so?" he asked. "Hurry, take a seat. Later, we'll learn about your past, your present, and your hopes for the future. But now, there's work to do." What a weird teacher, thought Jay, taking the nearest empty seat he could find. More than ever, he wished he were back in his old school. Chapter 4. Making New Friends. When the lunch bell rang, the class headed for the door. Jay trudged along the huge, crowded lunchroom. He thought about the sunny cafeteria in his old school where he always sat with his best friend, Allie. Today, he'd be eating by himself. There's Jay thinking about his old school and his best friend. On the lunch line, the girl and boy in front of Jay were talking. When the boy turned around, Jay saw that it was the kid he knocked down that morning. The boy saw Jay and said something to the girl. She turned, and Jay knew her too. It was the girl he got tangled up with on the stairs. Jay felt like climbing into a hole. He looked down at his shoes so he wouldn't have to face them. "Hey," said the girl. Jay looked up. She was smiling. "My name is Rachel," she said. You're new, right?" Jay nodded. "This is my brother Tom," said Rachel. "Did you really knock him down? I wish I'd been there." Jay was embarrassed, but Tom started to laugh. "No big deal," he said, making a face at his sister. As they moved through the line, Rachel and Tom gave Jay advice about the food. Then they took their trays to the table and sat down. Jay told Rachel and Tom about his morning in class. "You're lucky," said Tom. "I had Mr. Marcus last year, and he's great." Rachel agreed. "Sometimes you think he's talking nonsense, but he always makes sense in the end, and you learn a lot." There's the group having lunch. As Jay took a sip of juice, he realized something. For the first time that day, he was really enjoying himself. He felt relieved. It would take some getting used to, but maybe being the new kid wouldn't be so terrible after all. The end. The new kid.